Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we're playing Black Sack in the Pauper, what's this called? Championship? Week Finals. Here it is, Pauper Championship Week Finals. To end the Pauper week that we've been having, there was a super qualifier to start it off, a whole bunch of preliminaries and additional challenges, and now we are entering this. We're taking Black Sack, my stock list, of course. 17 lands, we have 4 feeders, beetles, bloodthorn vampires, and 2 sadistic glees as our growers. And then we're going to be sacrificing Infestation Sage, Nested Shambler, Nezumi Linkbreaker, and Shambling Ghast to grow those creatures. A Cursed Marauder and Snuff Out add some removal to the deck. Village Rites lets us draw the cards that we need. And then Unearth and Supernatural Stamina make for some nice combos and recursion for our deck. And in our sideboard, Spinning Darkness for some life gain and more removal. Drown in Sorrow to clear the board. Mesmeric Fiend to attack the hand. Another Marauder, a couple more Tragic Slips. Not more, we don't have any in the main deck, but Tragic Slips for some more removal. Rotten Reunions, Sivok Lifestaff, and Nile Spellbomb. So we are jumping into round 1 right here. And we're on the play. Not a bad opening hand. Feeder plus Glee on all of this can be pretty aggressive. I think we're going to keep it. Opponent mulligans to 6. And since we're on the play, we don't know what we're up against. I'm not going to lead out on Feeder. We're going to lead out with the Nested Shambler, I think. And Delver. Okay, interesting. So I have the Cursed Marauder, but I actually can just Shambling Ghast down the Delver. And Delver is a creature that can be problematic for us. Generally, we have a pretty favored matchup against Terror. But if they flip an early Delver, we don't have a lot of ways to chump block that. We don't have the most removal. So I think we'd also like to save the Marauder for an actual Serpent later, so I think we're just going to pick this off right away. We don't often get this opportunity because you need a sack outlet, the Shambling Ghast, and you need to be able to develop all this before they actually flip the Delver, so yeah, not super common, but I would have loved to get the Sadistic Glee down before we killed the Delver so that we got that counter on probably our Shambler, but that simply just wasn't going to happen this time. They have another Delver, so if we draw a Swamp, it's possible we could just Sadistically on the Shambler a Cursed Marauder. Okay. If they have a Spell Pierce, they could use it on the Sadistically, but we have the mana to pay for it, so it feels like they probably won't. Then we Marauder away. Saving Marauder for the Serpents is good, but honestly, they haven't put anything in the graveyard, so Serpents could be a while off, and we could start dealing a lot of damage, so I think we're going for it. I also want to separate my counters here because they don't play a lot of removal, but the removal they play, Demon Furior or Sleep of the Dead, is going to be able to remove all the counters, or at least tap down and keep a creature from attacking from a single creature, so we're going to try to spread it out. They could have Force Spike, which is something I didn't fully consider, but I don't think we could really play around the Force Spike there. We have enough aggression here that even if the Delver did survive here, I'm not as worried about it as if they had like a turn 1 flip with like on the play or something like that. So if they did flip it, it's not the end of the world, but obviously killing it is nice. It's Cyclolorian. So I'm hitting for 5. Next turn I can play a Carrion Feeder, sack that. I'm hitting for 7, and that's a 2-turn clock from there. I think that's probably good enough, because next turn, or because I could have sacrificed the Shambler here, although I'd be losing damage, so I would want to do it afterwards, right? Unless I sacrificed the Shambler and all of the squirrels, I would be losing damage. And if I do that, then I'm all in on one creature, which again plays poorly into their removal. They thought Scour and hit a Serpent Island, so they still only have 2 spells in their graveyard. They do have the Demon Furior, that's annoying. So I could let this go to the top, but honestly, sacrificing it grows the Shambler, and I have another Carrion Feeder in hand, so I don't really care to draw this again. So I'm actually pretty happy they did this one. I mean, if they did the Shambler, I'd obviously sacrifice it and get a bunch of squirrels. Another Shambler, so this does throw off our math from before a little bit, but I can attack here. I could sacrifice the Shambler to make this 6 power. We hit them down to 8. This would be not 3 power, so we would have lethal next turn as well. They just concede. Yeah, they had a pretty rough start, and we had a pretty nice one, so that's going to be game 1 for us. So we get to bring in some hand attack, not all the fiends because we just don't have room for all of that, but some hand attack, some more removal, and graveyard hate. And we take out Rite of Consumption because it's counterspelled, Shambling Ghast because we don't usually get to pick off a Delver like that, some Infestation Sage and Sadistic Glees because the Glees are pretty good there, as we saw. But if Glee gets hit by, if the creature that Glee is on gets hit by like a Demon Furior or a Sleep of the Dead, it is kind of a waste. That said, having it to put on a fodder creature could diversify our threats, so I don't necessarily think it's terrible to keep in. Sounds pretty good. We can do turn 1 Feeder, turn 2 Fiend if we want to. They have the Delver again, so I'd love a Snuff Out off the top. Another Fiend. We only brought in 2 of those. We'll play the Feeder. There is a little bit of risk here. Sometimes they play Gut Shot, and if they brought those in, starting with a Feeder turn 1, could be problematic if they just Gut Shot it, because then our hand falls apart a little bit, but I also think with the Fiends coming turn 2, it's just important enough that we get it down and hope for the best. They do flip this off a counterspell, but they cycle a Lorien, so no counterspell up here. Marauder's not bad, but I think I just want to start with the Fiend. We get a little more damage, and I get to see what they got. I guess if they have multiple counterspells, this just keeps the Aberration around, potentially. We don't have a great other way to deal with the Delver. As I said, a turn 1 Delver that flips can be really devastating for us. They gotta have the Force Spike or this is gonna work. So I think we're just gonna go for the Marauder, hope to clear the Delver here. They Thought Scour, hit Island Ponder, not too bad. We do get to eat the Delver. We're only hitting for 1, which I don't love, but ideally we draw a land this turn, and I can go with like a Fiend and a Link Breaker. All right, they're gonna pass. We know they have Counterspell. We do get the Swamp. So I could Mesmeric Fiend to draw out the Counterspell, then just play a Link Breaker. Or I could play a Link Breaker, which might draw out the Counterspell, and then Fiend. I kind of want the Link Breaker to resolve, and we have a second Fiend. I'm just going to go with this. If they have multiple Counterspells, maybe they will just let this resolve, but that's fine too. Yeah, there's the Counterspell. Play a Link Breaker. 1, 2, 3, 4 spells. They have the Gut Shot. Yeah. That is annoying. Can't do anything to protect it. That's 5 spells, so they got 2 mana Serpent here and another. Yeah, definitely unfortunate. If we draw well, draw another Feeder. Ooh, that's good. Maybe a Beetle, like we could still be in the money here. I guess I probably just Carrion Feeder Fiend here, take their last card, because it could be another Serpent or something. Yeah, I think I need to. Could be a number of things. Yeah, Terror. I think we can maybe deal with 2, but the third would be pretty problematic. We're going to chump. If I could get a Beetle here to also be growing alongside and eventually get big enough to block the Serpents, that would be nice, but we don't even have the most fodder at this point, so I don't know if that's going to work. They play an island in case they find a Lorien. All right, so I'm going to chump with the Mercenary. I think I want to Rotten Reunion a card. This isn't really going to affect if they can cast a Terror, but I want to Village Rites right away here because I could find quite a few things. Okay, Snuff Out's good, and another Link Breaker is great. I'm just going to have to cast one of these. That's totally fine, but now this doesn't kill us in one hit, and if they draw Sleep of the Dead, I think I'm going to leave back both of our fodder creatures because if they draw Sleep of the Dead, they could use it twice, but then they are using up most of their graveyard. Not to mention, if they do find one, I just get to Rotten Reunion it away next turn. Block, sacrifice to the Feeder. They find a Delver. Okay, not the end of the world. That's got to hit us 3 times. Swamp's pretty bad. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could hit for 9 here. That's not lethal, but if I hit for 4, they go to 10. Next turn, I pump. I want to make sure I can hit them for lethal next turn. So if I pump with a Mercenary, since I'm blocking with one other Mercenary, although if they get a Sleep of the Dead now, they have 7 damage, so we're dead, but I can't do anything about that. So if we pump with a Mercenary, we hit for 5, they go to 9. The next turn I can double Mercenary. Yeah, so I can make it lethal next turn if I do this. So I might as well. Now this puts us dead to a Demon Furier, but I think I need to put up lethal next turn. They don't flip, which means it's not a spell, which means we should be good. I mean, if they play a creature, I guess we're not good. If it's an island, then we're pretty okay. Oh wait, I forgot that I have to chump with this, which means I'm not gonna have the damage I need unless I top deck something, right? Because it's 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Kind of forgot about that. And they have a Serpent. That's really annoying. Well, assuming I get anything, I can force the chump block with the Terror. If they're worried enough, they might just block. Because I think I can't tap the Mercenary, so I really need to draw something good here. I'm going to leave the Reunion. I guess if they get no, I'm not going to leave the Reunion. If they get a Sleep of the Dead, I'm dead no matter what. So let's just cast it. Beetle. That doesn't do a ton. It is fodder, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I could make the Carrion Feeder lethal, but I'd have to tap the Mercenary, which forces the chump of the Terror, and then I have a Beetle to chump the Serpent. Okay. Oh wait, I could also just attack with the Zombie, right? 5, 6, 7. Oh, but if they block the Zombie, 1, 2, 3, that's not lethal. Will they? I can force them to chump by pumping the Feeder with the Mercenary, but I lose a blocker, which means I'll die to a Demon Furier. But if they just think they might die and block the Feeder anyway, then I might not have to. I think that's too risky, though. I think we pump here. Attack with both of these. Yeah, I might as well get in for the 2 damage, I guess. They block, except actually I want to keep the Mercenary alive, so we're still just sacking the Zombie. All right, once again, we're dead to a Demon Furier, but ideally that will not happen or not be drawn. No Delver flip again. Hopefully it's an island this time, because I'm not sure we can deal with another Terror. They just attack with the Serpent. Yep, block here. Sacrifice the Beetle. So they're going to have to block with the Delver. They left it back, so yeah, they drew an island. Reunion doesn't do a lot. It just makes the Carrion Feeder lethal without me having to actually use the Mercenary, but they're going to block anyway. It's good, though, in case they didn't block, if they count it and are like, oh, this is only 8 damage. You know, maybe they don't block here. And then we can get them with the Reunion, but I don't think that's likely. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 cards in their graveyard, 3 spells. So if I exile 2 of them, they could still just play a Terror and we know they have an island in hand. So I think I just pass. Hope for the best. Play an island. They didn't play the last island, so that might mean that they didn't draw anything. They might be doing the math here and realizing that I can only pump this to an 8/8 with what I have on board. So if they attack, force me to block, chump, I attack for 8. They could kill me if I don't draw anything because my feeder can't block. That might have been smart for them to do, but they leave it back. I'm gonna just hold the reunion. So yeah, I'm just gonna attack with the feeder. If they don't block because they see this is only 8 damage, then I have the reunion. They do. All right, now this is a really good spot. They have to top deck. I guess a Demon Fury into another creature would probably be their best bet. Well, Brainstorm's pretty good. But we survived all of those Serpents and the Delver, which I was not sure we were going to. Here's hoping they whiff pretty badly on the Brainstorm. Thought Scour. Okay, that's a redraw. Mill 2 islands. Sleep of the Dead is going to buy him a lot of time, although I get to Rotten Reunion it. This is why I saved it. Okay, and no Serpent. I think we might be okay then. Get that out of here. I guess if they have a counterspell, I can just flash it back. So I could even flash back now, but we still only have 5 damage. I don't think that's necessary. Village Rites. Well, I guess I will... Oh, I should have pumped the Mercenary. Oh, it doesn't matter. I can just attack. But we're going to Village Rites the zombie, since the chances I draw something more relevant than this zombie are pretty high, but if we get 2 swamps, you know, so be it. All right, Vampire, Nested Shambler. I think things are looking pretty good. I'll play the Swamp in case we want to flashback the Reunion. Ooh, definitely close there for a second. And they get a Demon Inferior on the feeder. Yeah, pretty good, but a little late. And... yeah, I can sacrifice it. It doesn't really matter. I have enough damage between these guys that we're going to take the match. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right, round 2 here. I believe Coleman P has been playing a Dimir Affinity Fairies deck. Not really sure how that'll line up, but we're on the draw with Beetle, Feeder, Linkbreaker, Stamina. Pretty good hand. Double Feeder's unnecessary unless obviously one dies. One land is rough, but I kind of think it's good enough. I've been keeping more one-landers recently. Not necessarily the best idea, but I've been getting a lot of pretty decent-looking ones. Swamp also helps quite a bit. I'm just going to lead on a feeder since we have 2 of them, and I'm not 100% sure the removal they'll have. Probably Cast Downs, maybe Tithing Blades. Start with the Blood Fountain, so they could Thought Cast right away. Yeah, it's pretty good. We can get down a Beetle and a Linkbreaker. I don't think I want to sacrifice the Linkbreaker at all yet, though, because I might want to Stamina it. So usually I would sack it to get a little bit of damage in, but currently it's our best target to Stamina, so I think we're saving it for now. They have the Refurb. I think I want to get rid of the Feeder. Now, if this feeder dies, it's not great, but they tap their black. They might not have another untapped black. I think we're going to go for it. Honestly, the Marauder might not be super helpful either, so maybe I should just get rid of that. But here it does look decent, though, if they don't have like a Metallic Rebuke. We get a Swamp. Yeah, so I think we're just playing Marauder and seeing if they have Counterspell. Just actual Counterspell, okay. Interesting. Well, we're going to swing with the team. They're going to take it, so I'm going to Stamina here, hit for 5, and then Sacrifice. And we'll pass the turn. They're swinging for 2. I don't really know what that means. Oh, it means they have the Ninja. Right. Yeah, like I said, Affinity, Fairies stuff. So they get to Refurb, take our Village Rites. That's annoying, but we already have quite a substantial board presence, so maybe not the end of the world. Swamp, I guess I'll probably keep that for another Refurb. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 I could deal this turn. I think I might as well just attack with the Feeder and the Beetle. I'm not tapping the Mercenary, because if I tap the Mercenary and then I want to sack the Linkbreaker, we don't have great blocks for the Moonsarga Hacker. They're just going to take it. Let's see. 4 damage, they go to 10. I want to deal more than that. This would put them to 8. If I sacrifice another Mercenary, we could put them to 6. Another Mercenary, put them to 4. This puts them to 8. If I sack one more, they go to 6, but then I have 2 4/4s. I kind of think, yeah, I should push my advantage a little bit. Sack one more. Put them down to 6, so this means that the Mercenary can pump one of these, make it lethal next turn, so they have to block 1, although they already have to block 1, I suppose. But also, any creature off the top, I guess they're already both lethal, because this is why I wanted to do it. They're already both lethal, because if they just block 1, I can sacrifice both of the other creatures to the other one. Also, anything off the top can help quite a bit. They swing with the refurb, I assume another ninja. Yup. So it really depends on if they get some decent removal here, I think. They replay the refurb, I just discard the swamp. Not the end of the world, but it's like cast downs and things I'm really worried about. I don't know their exact list. They could play like Mirror Enforcers potentially, which could be troublesome. Swamp. Well, I'm going to attack. If they go for like a double block on one of these, then I guess they know it. They have like a cast down to kill the other one. If they just chump both of them, then that makes sense because they're both potentially lethal. But if they leave one back with the mana up, I don't think I'm going to go for lethal because that seems a little too risky to sacrifice 2 creatures, go all in one. I basically just lose if they have a cast down. So yeah, they just block here. I think we'll just deal them the 4. Don't really want to lose to a cast down. There it is. So we'll sack this to itself. The beetle will be a 5/5, but I can make it a 6/6 with the mercenary. Or I could sack the mercenary and we have 1 6/6. But they have chump blockers. That doesn't seem very good. So we'll just sack the feeder, hit for 5, and pass. They're going to swing with both. So, I mean, worst case here, they could like Blood Fountain back the refurb as a blocker. I don't really want them to loot twice, but if I trade with the mercenary and then I don't get any creature doesn't even win me, it doesn't even give me lethal here now because I need a sack outlet. I think I just got to take this. Of course, if they have another ninja, they can, swap them and draw some cards instead. Looks like they do. Oh, looks like they do, but they decide not to do it. Looting away a Lorien and the other hacker. Play a Fairy Seer. Scroll one to the top. They have a Fairy Macabre main deck. Okay. Yeah, they just have a lot more creatures than we do, which is rough, and we're just drawing poorly. Well, I don't think I have to tap the mercenary just because I could have village rights here. Unless they have a counterspell, I don't think there's any way they let this through. But they also get to chump and then buy them back with Blood Fountain, so not my favorite position. I guess if we get a right of consumption, we'll probably just go for it, hoping they don't have a counterspell. Obviously, if they tap out, that'll help. But for that reason, I kind of need to keep the mercenary token to make it actually lethal. So I think we're just taking 6 here. 4, I guess, actually. They have the 4th Moonsarka Hacker in 20 cards. Why not? Draw 2. Play a Fairy Seer. Bajuka Bog. Pass. There's the right of consumption. So I'm going to pump the beetle. I could attack. We force a chump block. But if they have a cast down and they use it in the combat, then it's kind of awkward. Not awkward. We just lose the game. I think we just pump and I just throw. If they have the counterspell, we lose, but I think we lose if we don't go for it anyway. So I think we might as well. And don't need to take the risk of attacking because it just doesn't really matter. And they found the counterspell, so pretty annoying there. So I think we're taking mostly a fairies approach to countering here. Spinning Darkness doesn't hit refurb, but it hits everything else pretty much. Tragic Slip, Drown in Sorrow. They have a lot of guys. I don't know if that's the best thing here. I'd usually cut Sadistic Glee, but since they have black, they'll probably just have a few cast downs. I guess Marauders are not super great, and then Unearth is still pretty good though, just as a way to get through counter spells and stuff. Maybe a couple Fiends instead of Link Breakers. You know what? We're on the play. I think we saved the Drown in Stars for like on the draw, probably. Sure. Vampire Beetle, Shambler, Tragic Slip. This is like okay. It's kind of bare minimum. We do have turn 1 Beetle, turn 2 Vampire, turn 3 Shambler with like a Tragic Slip. I guess we'll keep it. Obviously, Stamina would probably be like our best draw. To go with the Shambler, make for a quick win, potentially. Vault and Bloodthrone Vampire. Blood Fountain, I mean. We're the one playing the Vampire. I'm not just going to Village Rights here. We're just going to play this and swing for 1. Yeah, I mean, a Stamina, if they have no blockers, if they tap out for like an Anchor Wellspring or something, although they probably aren't playing Wellspring with all the draw they have from ninjas. But if they tap out for a useless 2/2, if they tap out for a useless 2-drop or something, then we could lethal here. That's not useless. I think we'll get rid of the swamp. It hampers our mana a little bit, but I kind of like all the other cards we have. Play a Fairy Seer. I mean, by just playing a Shambler, if they do the math, they'll have to fear the Supernatural Stamina, which means that they'll have to block 1, which could be good. Swamp, Shambler, swing. And if they block 1, then I can Tragic Slip the other, so they can't get any ninjas off. Yeah, they block the Vampire, so I'll just sack the Shambler to it. Maybe I should have just Village Rights in our main phase, because I probably want to do that when they don't have any spell stutters up. If I'm going to do it this turn already, but then I don't have any way to protect the Vampire. I don't know if they're going to have any damage-based stuff. I think we just do this. Tragic Slip the Familiar so they can't ninja it, and then pass. And they got to do something here, so then I can probably Village Rights when they tap out. Thoughtcast. Yeah. If they go for a refurb, I'll certainly Village Rights in response. Play a bridge and pass. They only have a black mana. I'm going to chance it. Unless they have like a Tragic Slip or something, I think we're okay to do this. And of course, double Swamp Spinning Darkness is exactly what I wanted to draw. Well, we have 4 damage a turn, which is not nothing, but not very good here. Discard a Lorien to the blood. They have an Accursed Marauder. That's annoying. I assume they're going to have a second one or something. So I'll sack the Vampire, grow the Beetle, but I assume they have a way to kill the beetle. Maybe just a cast down. Sadistically, I don't think we're going to put that on here. I should probably have kept the swamp for another refurb, but they don't have a cast down. Interesting. I guess we hit them down to 8. Now they have another one. They were just holding up counterspell, I guess. Yeah, it's dead. I feel like this is a really terrible one to have brought in from the sideboard if they didn't have it in the main deck, because usually I would not have just growers, but obviously it works well here. They have counterspell mana up. We know that they probably just have a counterspell. They decide to use it on the link breaker. Pass. We get a feeder. If I just toss out a feeder, they can Blood Fountain back in a Cursed Marauder. So I don't think we're going to just throw that out there. They get back Refurb Fairy Seer. Play the Refurb. Yeah, like I said, I should have kept the Swamp from before, but I think the Glee is kind of our best bet at this point. Scry 2 to the top. Stamina. I guess we'll play Carrion Feeder. Probably gets counterspelled. No, we'll pass. Suffocating Fumes. I'll stamina to bring it back. Thorn of the Black Rose, sure. They have a ninja for the refurb. Replay the refurb. I don't think there's any way we can get out of this. I mean, this deck seems alright. I think it just has a really good matchup against us. I guess for the future, if we play against it again, not playing into a Cursed Marauder would be good, because generally that should be something pretty easy to play around. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like they drew pretty well, but we drew okay this game. Well, until we got 2 swamps and Spinning Darkness 3 cards in a row. All right, we're on the play for round 3 here, and this does not look very good. We have 4 of a card that we want to have 1 to 2 of, and that's just not going to do it. Another one with just a bunch of feeders. I guess we'll keep this one. We're going to get rid of a swamp. The second feeder could obviously be relevant if the first one dies. And honestly, when I have 2 feeders, I usually like to just lead with one, because if it does die, we have a backup, and if it doesn't, then at least we have a little bit more speed than usual. It looks like we're against red. With the Great Furnace, I'm going to guess Red Rally, but obviously could be a number of different decks. But we're just going to lead out on Fodder now. There's an Epicure and a Draw Swords Bridge. So actually it looks like Rakdos Madness. So we get to swing for 2, and I think now we get to just protect this feeder pretty nicely with feeder Link Breaker. We can make it a 7/7. Now they are playing artifact lands, which means they have Galvanic Blasts, which unfortunately means they can potentially still kill a 7/7 with just 2 cards instead of 3. They're going to attack. If I block here and sacrifice, feels like they're going to try to target this down in response. I think I can take 1 damage. Obviously, it's a burn deck, so I don't like taking damage if I don't have to. Jagged Barons and Vampire's Kiss. Okay. So here I'm going to sacrifice a couple of the Link Breakers to make Mercenaries. This is better if we draw like a Nested Shambler. I can pump it up, and we definitely just want to grow the feeder a little bit while they're tapped out anyway. Now we get a Village Rites, so I can attack for 6 here. Kind of want to Village Rites the Sage first. If we get like a Beetle or something, there's a lot of reasons we'd want to do this. Unearth's not bad. It looks like we're all in on this feeder, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to play the Sage. Let's see, how much I got to hit for? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 this turn. Okay. Probably want to hit for at least 8 to 10. If I hit for 10, I can maybe force a chump block next turn, and then if they can't get another creature or gain life, lethal the following turn. So I think I'm just unearthing a Link Breaker here. Pump, attack, sack the Link Breaker, sack the Sage. I'm just going to assume there's no and the Festivities in the main deck, although that could be problematic. This is 7 damage. Let's sack an Insect. I actually think I want to keep an Insect around so I can throw all the Mercenaries onto the Insect to pump it, hit for 4, even if we get chump block this next turn. I'm going to hit for 8 here. We obviously don't have lethal next turn no matter what. We can present lethal, but if they have the Epicure blocker, it won't be lethal unless we can find like removal spell for it. Grab the prize Kitchen Imp. Okay. They cast that. And swing with the Imp. So if I take 2 here, I go to 11. I don't love that. I could block with the Insect, sack. We get a 7/7 feeder. Or I could hit for 4. I think we want to preserve our life total, actually. Let's go ahead and sack this here. They pass. We get a Sadistically. Oh, that's interesting. So now I could actually put that on a Mercenary. Obviously, we've sacrificed a whole bunch of creatures to make this enormous, so it could have been better if we had saved them up, but that's okay. I could put it on a Mercenary, then I could sack 1, 2. I could also pump 1, 2, so we can make this like 5 power. It's either that or I put it on the feeder, but the feeder can already be lethal, so I don't think that makes sense. So we're going to go here, pump the Mercenary. I guess if they have a bolt for the Mercenary, then I can't really grow it out of range of that, but this still means they have to chump block, and now I have 2 threats getting through. Block here, so I could just deal them 3. They go to 9. This is going to get a counter, so it's going to be 4. And then next turn it would be 4, 5, 6 potentially. If I deal them 4, they go to 8. Yeah, I think I'm going to sack 1 Mercenary here. Well, let's do the math again. They go to 8. Next turn, this will be 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's not really getting... Without drawing something else, it's not actually slowing the clock, but we'll just deal damage here. If they bolt this now, they bolt... Yeah, they do go for it. All right. So yeah, maybe we shouldn't have sacked that extra mercenary. I mean, we're still in a fine spot, I think. I guess actually this is now a 9, 9, 10, 11, so it's not quite lethal if we don't draw something, actually. The math with the mercenaries is so tough, because once you sacrifice them, you're actually losing damage over time. They have a Faithless Looting and a Fiery Temper to the face. They're attacking, so they either have another blocker or they're just banking on the fact that we won't have lethal, but they do have the Epic here. I guess Shambling Ghast off the top would win us the game. That's probably our best draw, because we'd take away a blocker. Swamp doesn't do it. They can hit for 2. We're down to 5. They have to find 2 burn spells. They only have 1 card in hand, but they have a lot of blood. They could definitely do it, but what are you going to do? I'm going to attack here. It's not technically lethal if they just want to take it, but obviously if I have anything in hand, it could be. They do block. Faithless Looting. Brings back Snacker. Gets another Kitchen Imp, so that means they just need 1 bolt. We definitely sacrificed maybe a mercenary or 2 at times when we shouldn't have, but they had a blocker every step of the way, so it really didn't matter if they just have the bolt here. And obviously they wouldn't have attacked with both imps if they didn't, so a little annoying. That is potentially one we could have won if we played differently. If I didn't just send out the feeder right away, and I did the normal fodder, then I get 2 feeders down later, and then I can... It's harder for them to chump block, so it's possible I should have done that and juggled the counters between the 2. That might have been right. Well, we get some graveyard hate and life gain versus the taking out some removal that's not super effective and unearths. We have a turn 1 Spellbomb, Fiend, Shambler. This just doesn't do anything though. We have Life Staff, Staminas with no fodder creatures that we actually want to stamina. Life Staff on 1 land. We're gonna have to go to 5. This one's okay. Put back a Swamp. I can put back 1 Swamp, but I really don't want to put back any of these 4. They're all really necessary. If I put back a Swamp and I don't draw another Swamp right away, I think we're just dead, unfortunately. If we do draw another Swamp though, I'm going to be really annoyed, but I guess it's the Beetle, and we just hope to draw Stamina, Rite of Consumption or something. Pretty unfortunate mulligan. They have Barons. We draw the Beetle back. I guess that's not the worst. We're gonna just equip up this right away. We did want the Beetle. You know, if we draw land here, not that I love a land, but it would allow us to deploy both of these. That could be something. They eluding with a Temper, going after the face. Snacker in the yard. Okay, we do get the Swamp. Play a Blood Throne and swing for 2 and pass the turn. I could sack the Shambler to start growing the Beetle, which could protect it better. It's not a terrible idea, but unfortunately the Vampire doesn't grow alongside it permanently, so it just feels like it's a bit of a waste. They have a Faithless, get back the Snacker with the Fiery Temper. Temper at our face. Okay. If we draw well here, we could definitely do some damage. I mean, if we get like a Rite of Consumption, that could just be lethal. If we get a Stamina, that's close to lethal. It would be lethal, but if they have a bolt on the Shambler, it wouldn't be. I think they're deciding if they want to bolt or Galvanic Blast one of our creatures right now. They do go for a Beetle, bolt. So if I Vampire, I'd have to sack the Shambler and 2 of the Squirrels, so that's everything. And then this goes away, the pump. We get a 4/4 Beetle and a 1/1 Vampire. They still have 4 cards. It doesn't really feel worth it. We're also losing the life gain potential from all the Shambler Squirrels. Here I could do 7 damage with the Vampire. I get a Rite of Consumption is not lethal now, but his stamina is still pretty good. Yeah, I think we gotta let the Beetle die, unfortunately, and hope for the best. Stamina would have been the best. This is not a Stamina. So I can hit for 3. I could sack the Shambler. We hit for also still 3, but then I can... Well, no, I could equip the Life Staff to a Vampire, hit for a little more. I can equip it to Squirrels, gain some life. I'm going to hope we can't die from 13 damage here, I think, and just try to preserve my cards. Now a Rite of Consumption off the top would be lethal, assuming they have no blockers and don't interact with us. But that's not going to be the case. End the festivities, pretty annoying. Sack the Shambler, and if they have a bolt for the Vampire here, we'll just... lose it. Yep, they do. And we still lose the Squirrels. I could have just let it go off and we lose the Shambler, but we get 2 Squirrels to replace him. I'm not sure that's much better. They only have 1 card in hand, but we have to top deck. I don't even know what. Not a Swamp. Take 2. Jagged Barons. Rotten Reunion. I could take out their 2 Faithless Lootings. I mean, honestly, this is not a terrible draw. Maybe we have a chance. We get rid of their Faithless Lootings. We can equip Life Staff to the zombies, which means we can gain some life, potentially, if we don't just die here. I mean, we're not in a great spot by any means, but we can attack for 3 next turn, gain 3 life, re-equip the life staff. Maybe if I get like a carrion feeder here too, or a village rights, I guess. Of course, they get to grab the prize into the snacker. I could have held the Rotten Reunion for another snacker. I figured I kind of needed to commit to what I had, what I could see right there, which is the Faithless Lootings, but whatever. Discard a vault. If they get a village, or if they get a Galvanic Blast, they would just be lethal. They Bajuka Bog us. Pass. You get a vampire. Swing with the zombie for 3. Gain 3 life. Put it on this zombie. Pass. I maybe should have just put it on the vampire, because if they try, they're going to want to kill the vampire if nothing else. But I guess if they try to kill us with a bolt, then I can keep the vampire alive, which is our best bet. Yeah, I think this was right. We're going to take 4. I think I need to keep this zombie alive. They didn't have a bolt last turn, or at least not a bolt, a Galvanic last turn. Yeah. They play an Epicure. Come on, give me something. Come on, dude. If we just got like a double body creature, especially a Shambler that we could equip the life staff to, I think we'd have a shot. Now I don't really see that happening. Attack for 3, zombie dies, equip life staff. Yes. But if they attack with everything, I have to block the Epicure. They don't. Interesting. I'll go to 1. Jagged Barrens. The only way I could survive is by sacrificing this in response. Even if they don't have a bolt, I don't know what I could possibly draw here. Stamina. Amazing. All right, we're on the draw here. We have a 1-lander, but it's a nice 1-lander, I will say. On the draw with a Snuff Out. I think Snuff Out's another reason that I have been a little happier keeping 1-landers recently, is that even if I can only cast 1 spell for 1 mana, I still have the Snuff Out that I can activate. Or cast, rather. Faithless Looting, so it looks like Red Madness, probably. Sneaky Snacker in a Mountain. Could be more Rakdos, but that's a little bit less common. We do get a Village Rights, which is a nice draw. I'm going to start with a Link Breaker so that I can Village Rights it to hopefully hit that land next turn. And we have a Kessig Flame Breather here. I might very well just snuff that out. Snuffing it out doesn't feel great, losing 4 life, but of course, you want to make sure that you actually don't take more damage off of the Flame Breather. We draw our Swamp, which is really nice. So that actually means I can play Feeder and Beetle this turn. I mean, I'm just going to attack with the Link Breaker. If they block, then I'll happily Stamina, but I don't anticipate that will happen. We'll hit for 1. Beetle plus Feeder, they do still both die to bolts, which is a little unfortunate, but I think we're going to go for it anyway. If the Feeder dies, we still have a Bloodthorn Vampire to follow it up with, and hopefully they don't have another creature like a Gutter Sniper or anything. If they do, hopefully we can pressure them enough that they'll have to chump with it pretty quickly, but who knows. Snuff out the Flame Breather, and we'll pass the turn. They do have another Flame Breather right away. Passing this again. We get a Swamp, so I think that means I play the Vampire, so it's harder to kill these guys, and I attack with the team. They block the Link Breaker, and we're going to go for the Stamina. This means we won't get in for a bunch of damage unless they try to like bolt this, but I'll trade for the Flame Breather, which is obviously a great trade. They Lava Dart the Link Breaker in response. Fair enough. Obviously, we're going to sacrifice it to the Feeder to grow. And with the Village Rights in hand, the Vampire I want to protect too. I think we just hit for 4. Pass the turn. Grab the prize with a land. Not the end of the world. We just take a damage. They do draw 2 new cards. And get back a Snacker, so not my favorite things for sure. And they pass. Ugh. Drew a Swamp. I can Village Rights the Mercenary, but then if they want, they could Lava Dart the Bloodthorn Vampire, and I don't have any way to like keep it alive. It's probably fine. I'll just sacrifice it to a Feeder, but then if they have a bolt on that, it's not great. Even so, I think it's probably for the best that I Village Rights first. If we draw 2 swamps, as I feel like I've been getting unlucky and doing recently, it's not going to be great, but I think our chances to hit something relevant are pretty high and would help this turn out significantly. All right, we do get some decent hits. Link Breaker and Unearth is just for another Link Breaker. But if we do that, we can definitely present lethal here, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Not to mention the Vampire, which can obviously be even more. So yeah, I think we do that and swing with the team. They have no blocks. So if I'm sacrificing to the Vampire, obviously we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 12. Totally enough damage, but if I sack to the Vampire, they try to Lava Dart it in response. I sack the Link Breaker, then they bolt it. I can't keep it alive, and even if I sack a Feeder. What if I just start going in on the Feeder? We have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if I go in on the Feeder, sack this, they already can't Lava Dart. I think if we go in on the Feeder, we should be okay here. That's the goal anyway. Unless they have like a couple bolts, but they haven't responded yet, so it feels like they probably don't. This is 10, 12, well 12 between these two, 13 with the Vampire. So if I sack this, I actually don't even have to sack the Vampire unless they try to kill it. 14, 15 damage. All right, we take game 1. We get life gain, single target removal, and some graveyard hate. Okay, double Beetle. 2 village rights, no fodder. Probably just a bad hand. If we get a single piece of fodder, we can start growing these guys. Get a lot of card draw. We have a tragic slip for the first creature. I think I'm going to try it as kind of an experiment. It's not great. I think it'd be safer to mulligan, but nothing from them on turn 1. We get a swamp. I'm not just going to throw out a beetle without even the ability to village rights it. They have a flame breather. We get a link breaker, so I think I just play out a link breaker and hold up village rights. If they attack, I can chump and then tragic slip, maybe. Probably rather just get the village rights off. They have the grab the prize with the snacker. We don't have a rotten reunion, unfortunately. They don't even attack, which makes sense because we could have a stamina. Let's draw 2 swamps. Not quite what we were hoping for. They have only 2 mana. They missed on a land. So I kind of think I beetle village rights tragic slip this turn so we can take less damage. Well, I'm going to attack. I don't think there's any way they block. Of course, I'm losing some counters on this other beetle, but if we just throw out 2 beetles and village rights, that doesn't feel very good. I'd like to not take damage off the flame breather. Shambler, right of consumption. Okay. I mean, we're kind of set up as soon as we get a vampire or a feeder, but until then, we're not doing too much. They have the chain lightning with the beetle, epicure, swing for 2. Oh boy, so flooded. And we're just going to cast our guys out. If they even end the festivities, it's kind of bad, but we're hoping they don't. That's where I'm at. Discard an epicure to a blood token. Really looking for a land or removal or something. Lava Dart the beetle. Yeah, if we just had a village rights, then we could grow the beetle and survive that. That would have been nice. Swing for 2. I could have right of consumption for 1 damage to grow the beetle. I don't think that was the correct play, so I'm not upset about that. Tragic slip. We'll attack for 1. Guess I'm probably going to tragic slip this snacker. I mean, this hand is played out about how I expected, so I guess I can't be too upset. This is why you don't keep this type of hand, and I generally know that, but I was hoping I'd get the feeder, but not only is this just not... like we just didn't do anything, right? It's not like, oh, it was a close game. We just had no shot without drawing the right cards, and even sometimes I get tempted, but let that be a lesson to you. You can't keep a hand that doesn't do anything. This hand needs another land, but we're on the play. Can't keep it. All right, this one doesn't do a lot, but we have the feeder. We're also on 6, so we kind of have to. I don't think I'm going to play anything on turn 1. I really need these 2 to not get bolted, so. Or if they do, at the very least, I need to get a village rights out of it. Sadistic Glee on feeder to grow. Yeah, I guess I'm going to beetle, and if they try to kill it, I'll village rights. Lava Dart is always so brutal. Every village rights I've cast today, it feels like it's drawn 2 swamps. There's a flame breather. Life staff. If we could have just gotten a double body creature here, I could make this like enormous. I could tragic slip this, but I cannot. Another flame breather. Oh look, the status overlay just suddenly started working again. We take 1. Vampire. Vampire gets lava darted, or the feeder gets lava darted, whichever one I play first. And we at least get to tragic slip one of these, I guess, and hinder their mana. I guess with the vampire and the glee, I think the feeder is less valuable. I'm gonna equip up here. I assume they'll kill it in response. Yep, there's the dart. Tragic slip, a flame breather. If we top deck like a shambling, like a nested shambler, not a shambling guest, nested shambler, I think that's our best draw, because then I can go vampire, shambler, well, in the reverse order, and then equip the shambler to the life staff. Then next turn I have a glee on the vampire. Maybe we can get there. Grab the prize and end the festivities. 2 cards left in hand. Come on, give me something. I only play 17 lands. Okay, I'll play this and I'll equip, and I'll hope they don't have a way to kill it or kill me. Epicure, discard a mountain. Faithless Looting. Well, we're not dead. They don't attack. Come on, give me... I think Shambler's our best draw. Carrion Feeder. So I could Sadistic Glee onto the Vampire. Carrion Feeder, equip the Life Staff, sack it. So I gain 3. This becomes a 4/4 for the turn. I re-equip. I attack. But then it's a 3/2. It still decides to any bolt. But... yeah, that's where we're at. Alternatively, we could do it with Sadistically on the Carrion Feeder, but they're still at 20 life. I have to be able to go for the being able to grow even bigger. The +2/+2 I think I need. So sacrifice the Carrion Feeder, gain 3 life, equip here. It's a 3/2 that I could leave back, because if I attack for 5, I'm taking 3 damage for free. Not for free, for 5. If I top deck like a Shambler, I mean, they're gonna have blockers back, but we let them get in for a couple damage. I think I gotta get in for the 5 though. Pass the turn. They draw Highway Robbery, pretty good. Sack a mountain, blood token away another mountain. Play a land. They attack for 3. I feel like either they're not they don't think there's any way I can kill them, or they have a bolt here, which would finish us off. Okay, give me the Shambler. Oh my god, does that actually do it? Shambler with Life Staff. Lets us sacrifice 3 times. Vampire gets +9, so that would only be 12 damage, and then 13 with the Life Staff, but I would also gain a whole bunch of life, and they have to start chump blocking. They could have a Lava Dart. No, Lava Dart would have killed us too, so they can't have a Lava Dart. Sacrifice the Shambler. Gain 3, make 2 squirrels. Equip to a squirrel. Sacrifice that. Gain 3. Equip to a squirrel. Sacrifice that. Gain 3. Oh, I was already counting the life staff. I counted the life staff damage twice, so this is still just 12 damage. But 12 puts them to 3. That means that we have lethal on following turns. This is also big enough to dodge 1 bolt, and it grows as their guys die. That's exactly what we needed. They flashback a Faithless Looting. Okay, we're at 12. Discard a Mountain and a Temper, but no mana to cast it. They swing for 1, playing around a removal spell. Infestation Sage. Okay, that can, I can make a 2-power flyer that can attack next turn. So we attack here. They have to chump, which is going to grow the Vampire. Re-equip this here. I think I'm safe at 11 life. Like, if they have a Fire Blast, that's 5 damage. So I'd be at 6. We have a blocker, 6 damage. Lava Dart would be 4. That would put us to 1. Yeah, I think I should actually play it safe. Let's sack this. Gain 3. Because I think we're actually in a really good spot now. Make our insect and then equip there. So now we're at 14 with another 3 life buffer. I don't think I need to sack the insect and then re-equip to the vampire. I think that's far too all in. But if they don't have a removal spell for the insect over 2 turns, that's going to get them. We're going to keep demanding blockers for the vampire. They get some more draw spells, though. Here's a robbery. Discard a temper. It might just go with the insect. Probably the face, though. They got to try to make us take enough damage, I assume. Yeah, puts us to 9. I mean, I guess double Fire Blast if they have Mountain. Double Fire Blast, that would be lethal here, even through the Sylvok Life Staff. That'd be pretty unfortunate. If they do the math, they Lava Dart the insect. Okay. Well, we're going to sacrifice the insect. So we gain our 3 life. Before they can flashback the Lava Dart, we're at 11. Blast would put us to 5. So Lava Dart plus attack doesn't kill us here, I don't think. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So they got to leave back the Epic here. They might leave back both to play around a removal spell again. Yep. I mean, obviously that's not what I want to draw, but I think we're still okay. I mean, it really depends. If they get like a Fire Blast plus something. Fire Blast plus Lava Dart's 7, we've determined. 8. So they just need like a 2 damage, or a bolt or something. I could still survive because I could sack the vampire to itself, but if I lose this vampire, I probably lose. Ideally, they don't have enough here, and they're going to have to chump block with the Flame Breather this turn. They aren't attacking. That's a good sign. All right, Beetle. Should I play that? Does it matter? If I play it, obviously I can pump the vampire. I don't need to pump the vampire, though. So I probably wait, because they might last ditch. Yeah, because they've got a Lava Dart and stuff. They might end up, like, throwing this stuff at our face before they lose the Flame Breather, and then that way the Beetle can survive to at least hold a Life Staff. There's the Fire Blast, but we know we can't be dead here because they would have done it on their own turn unless they're really slow rolling us. There's the Lava Dart, so this is 5, puts us to 4. Eat the Flame Breather, and I think, I mean, they can't have a burn spell that does lethal damage here, but I think to be 100% safe, we should just equip here and immediately sacrifice. I guess the only thing they could have is like a Fire Blast or like a Lava Dart here. No, if they had a Lava Dart, that would have been lethal. I don't think I need to sacrifice. I don't think there's anything they could draw that would deal us 4 that I can't then just respond to with the Life Staff by sacrificing the Beetle. They're going to pass. They played a Mountain. They did get the Fire Blast, and they're going to just hope that we don't remember to sacrifice our Beetle, but we are going to do that. So down to 3. They have no permanents on board. We're going to equip up and swing for 12. Wow, what a crazy last game. I definitely thought I was dead there. I had given up all hope. We drew, I think, 2 swamps in a row that it just felt like we were already behind, and then we drew 2 dead cards, but then we found the Shambler at the exact perfect time with the Life Staff and able to get there. Also pretty funny them having no permanents in play. All right, round 5 here. We have the 1 lander, but we do have card draw. We have a Shambling Gas as well, Link Breaker. Problem is we don't have a lot to go for. We need to find a Kyrian Feeder or a Vampire as well as a land. as well as, I mean, if just that gets us there, maybe that's it. But like, I guess with 2 staminas on a Link Breaker, a Vampire with a Right of Consumption could just be lethal. I guess we'll give it a try, but generally I would prefer this hand to have a Carrion Feeder as well, or a Vampire. They start with a Lotus Petal, so Spy is my first thought, but it could be like Cycle Storm or something. Yeah, Saga Wildling, so it's going to be Spy. Another Lotus Petal. Battlement turn 1. Okay, well, they used 3 cards to get out this Battlement. We also draw our land, which means I could just lead on a Link Breaker, I think. Actually, I maybe should have done the Shamblagast, because if I attacked with Shamblagast, they're probably going to block, and then I could Stamina it, Village Rites to give -1/-1. I could kill the Battlement, but we don't have a terrible matchup against Spy if we have the speed that we need. So if we don't find one of our growers real quick, it's going to be pretty tough for us to win this one. There's a Gatecreeper Vine. Pulls out a Swamp. Unearth. I mean, this is mana enough and creatures to play a Spy this turn, so it's possible we'll just die if they have it, but we're going to attack. If they do a block, I will go for a Stamina on this Link Breaker. I think if they probably, yeah, just want to take the damage, which they do. We could draw a Snuff Out is our best bet. I'm just going to go for a Village Rites, because if we get a Feeder or something, we're going to want to play that rather than like Staminaing it. We get a Beetle. Well, I will say if they have the turn 3 win, they just had the nuts with the double Lotus Petal Battlement, in which case we were going to lose no matter what. And it looks like they might. I mean, they also have only pulled out 2 lands. Yes, so they would still need to have another way to get a land or 2, but lead the Stampede. They find a Masked Vandal, Wall of Roots. Vandal's useless against us. Wall of Roots is fine. We got the Beetle. Hey, if we get they have another Lotus Petal, geez. Okay. Well, we actually have we have such a reasonable, like, good hand if we could just find a Carrion Feeder or a Vampire. Because we could like Shamblagast, double Stamina it, hit for a bunch, Right of Consumption, and even better for more sacrifices if we unearth the Link Breaker. But I think because we have to find one of those to really have a shot here, I think I probably just cycle the unearth. We're gonna start by pumping the Beetle and attacking. If they block with a Wall of Roots, I could double Stamina it. I don't think that's worth it, so I think we're just going to leave it at that. Cycle and Unearth. Sadistic Glee. We're going to save that, because if we get a Vampire, I'm going to want to put that on the Vampire for maximum power for the Right of Consumption. We'll play a Shamblagast. I guess Vandal does hit Glee, so that's something to keep in mind. Another reason I want to not play it yet, but they play out the Vandal because they probably assume that it won't be very helpful in this match, which is fair. We get a Swamp. It also has 1 power, so it makes our attacks a little bit worse. Well, I guess we're both waiting for something. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. Wall of Roots. All right, there's the Vampire. That's really good. So I can Vampire, Sadistic Glee on the Vampire. I mean, there's no way I can Right of Consumption this turn, I don't think. Oh, wait, then again. I can Stamina the Shambler, which is mana neutral. I can do that twice. So Vampire is a 1, Mercenary, pump it to 2. Sadistically, it gets +3 for every sacrifice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 17 damage. Oh, I'm so close. So if I wait till next turn, I can have it, because I could Stamina. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, and I don't think there's any way I can get in for 2 damage here. Yeah, okay. I'm going to throw this here so I can use as little. I can have as much mana as possible next turn. Don't think any attacks makes any sense. Well, so I can start forcing chump blocks with the Vampire, which is going to grow the Glee. If I had 17 damage this turn with 1 chump block, that would be 18 damage next turn. So I could like attack with a Ghast, and if we get a trade here, that's something. But then we're not actually growing it off of that. I think we just pass. I mean, any top deck they get could kill us. Like if they have the Spy, maybe they're waiting on the land, or maybe if they get the Spy, they just slam it anyway and hope for the best. Tinder Wall doesn't do much. They sack the wall. Okay, maybe it does do more than I thought. It's gonna grow these. They needed that mana for something, or the red mana. Masked Vandal. Yeah, that's really annoying. I thought about the fact that the Glee could get Vandaled away, but I figured, what are the chances they're going to have another way to put a card in the graveyard and then the Vandal? Anything I sacrifice now is going to give permanent +1/+1, but at the cost of the actual +2/+2, so that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's really annoying. I could have waited, but I was worried about the mana. But I guess we have 2 extra mana because of the Vampire here. That's going to be unfortunate if that's going to lose us the game. Swamp. Okay, well, Vampire can still be pretty close to lethal. They're probably still going to block it. So it's only +2 for each. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that Glee was so important. Well, I'm going to pump a Beetle, and I'm going to swing. Block with a Wall of Roots, block with a 1/3. So I have to sacrifice 2 creatures, or I could just stamina this, but sacrifice 2 creatures to make this lethal on this creature. I think I need to start killing creatures, so I'm just gonna... Ugh, and if we'd thrown out the stamina originally and then had the Link Breaker around, we could deal so much more damage here. In fact, we could still get to the Rite of Consumption pretty easily. Okay, I don't need treasures, so actually let's use this Shambling Gas twice, and let's also pick off the Gate Creeper. Might as well. Or I could have just used it on the Wall of Roots, but I think I'd rather kill 2 creatures here. Like, I'm trying to kill as many creatures as possible. I don't think the Rite of Consumption is likely to be something we can get to at this point, so I'd rather just kill their creatures so that they can't Dread Return as soon as possible. Like, here we kill 3 creatures, they go down to 4. It's not bad. I guess we'll play a Swamp. They draw a Caretaker. We get a Swamp. Pump the Vampire. So these can each have 5 power if I sack 1 thing, which could kill a Wall of Roots. Yeah, I was going to say they might start just taking some damage. This just eats this, so I don't have to sack anything. Deal them 4. Sure. I can make the Vampire a 10/10. So if we do that same thing next turn and they take the Beetle, they cast a Giant, that's fine. I guess it can fight our creatures a little bit better, but obviously it didn't kill us, so that's not the end of the world. A Cursed Marauder. I mean, it grows the Beetle some. Pump the Vampire. Play the Marauder. I think I'd rather keep the Shambling Ghast's ping, -1/-1, for later, so I'm going to just use the Marauder on itself. We've also used 2 of our staminas already, so it doesn't really matter to keep it around for that reason. So if we attack with both of these, and they block the Giant here, I could make it a 6 toughness and -1, so it wouldn't die. Also, if they take this, they're just going to die. Yeah, so we can attack with both of these, I think, and be fine. Also, I guess the Beetle I could throw now. Like, if they take the Beetle, I can deal 8 damage and then Rite of Consumption for the other 8. So either one of these getting through is lethal, so they have to block both to survive. And they just block the Vampire. So sack the Shambling Ghast, -1/-1. Sack the Mercenary, deal them 8. Rite of Consumption for the last 7. Doesn't really matter. All right, we were able to get that game. Looked pretty rough. They did have a crazy fast start with the 3 Lotus Petals, but of course that means a lot fewer cards that they had to actually use, which might have been relevant seeing as they just needed to find a Spy and a land. We bring in Targeted Removal and Graveyard Hate, take out Unearth, Marauder, and a couple Sages. We want to keep a hand that is the opposite of what we had last time. We want a fast or disruptive hand, but obviously it worked out the first time. That doesn't mean we should keep another one like that. Well, this looks both fast and disruptive. It could be a good one to keep, but I'm kind of thinking that no lands just doesn't cut it. All right, this one has Snuff Out, which is, you know, a little disruption. Vampire, which can be speed. 2 lands. We can get rid of a Vampire because they shouldn't have removal for it. I guess they could Fiend it on turn 2, which would be brutal. They start with a land grant. What do they got? Tinderwall, bunch of walls. Okay, not the worst hand ever. They're going to start with a Caretaker, I assume. They could do a Tinderwall, but yeah, start with a Caretaker. I'm going to save the Snuff Out for like a Battlement or something, probably. I mean, let's think it through, because sometimes I forget to snuff out a creature like this, but I'm pretty sure, like, next turn, if they don't draw a land, they go Tinderwall, and then they can sack the Tinderwall if they want into a Battlement. So then I get kind of a 2-for-1 on killing the Battlement, whereas I could just snuff out the Caretaker. Then they don't get to play the Battlement this turn. The following turn they play the Battlement by sacking the Tinderwall, but then I can't kill it. Yeah, I think it's probably better to just let it go. There's the Tinder and Wall of Roots. Oh, they also had a Wall of Roots. There were too many walls to keep them all straight, so they get to do both of them. I mean, it's still probably best to get rid of the Battlement, but if I had killed the Caretaker, then this would have all been a turn behind. I don't know. Beetle is good. We got to get the Vampire down, though, and yes, we're going to snuff out the Battlement. I'll attack for 1. Should have maybe done that before anything, but I still think a 4 toughness Wall of Roots they're probably blocking every time. All right, they got a Gate Creeper Vine, pull out a Swamp, play that, and hit us with the Winding Way. Dread Return in the yard, Winding Way, Giant and Vandal. That's pretty fine. They actually kept the Vandals in post-board, which is kind of interesting, maybe because they saw the Glee, which we didn't take out, so we still have 2 Glees, but not the most. And they have a Giant in hand. I mean, that was one of the best ways the Winding Way could have gone for us, other than just, you know, whiffing entirely. I kind of think here I want to just Beetle and Village Rites the Sage to try to hit a land. We'll attack first. I feel like they probably don't block the Vampire this early. Yeah, but that's fine. I'm not going to sack this turn regardless for any more damage. Village Rites the Sage, grow the Beetle. We hope for like a land and maybe another Snuff Out or something. Rite of Consumption's a pretty good one. Let's see, Shambler, I'll play that in case we get a Stamina. If we don't get a Stamina, we could Sage. That could be plus 10 on the Vampire. Heavily the Stampede. They found 2 Gatecreeper Vines, Battlement, and a Sagu Wildling. So Roost Seek for Forest. That's land number 3. Let's see. Can we win here? I think so. Even if they block the Vampire, which they certainly should. We have a Sage. We attack. They block Vampire. Beetle, we can sacrifice 5 to make it 7 damage. They go to 12. That means Vampire's 11, but then we sacrifice the Beetle to it. It's 13, and we Rite of Consumption. So this should be lethal. They block Vampire. We'll start sacking. Hit for 7. Sack the Beetle. Rite of Consumption for 13. All right, we get there against Spy in 2. I'm going to keep this hand. We have 3 lands, which is obviously more than you want, but otherwise it's pretty solid. We can just put up a pretty fast clock with Carrion Feeder Beetle and 4 creatures to sacrifice, so opponent wants to 5, so that can also help in case we have kind of a bad matchup or one where we need interaction. Haunted Mire, I kind of assume this means it's Gardens, which definitely means I want to lead on a Link Breaker as opposed to these guys because obviously they're going to have like cast downs and stuff like that, but they could also have Tithing Blades and Defiles, things like that we can play around a little bit more if we don't just slam the feeder down right away. Shambling Ghast is an interesting draw because of course if we just sacrifice it right away for a treasure, it basically is free. So I could play Feeder, Ghast, sack it, play the Beetle. We get an extra counter on the Feeder that way, but not on the Beetle. If I just throw out the Feeder and the Beetle here, then a Defile can kill them, and we really need the Feeder to survive. So if I also just play that as like into a cast down, it's not great. I kind of think I'm going to hope they don't have like a Drown in Sorrow main deck, and I think I'm going to play Beetle Sage here, because if they kill the Beetle, that's not as bad as if we lost the Feeder here. If they're just drawing, that's great for us. Of course, Beetle does die to a Defile, and Carrion Feeder would not. Okay, Cauldron Familiar. So it's actually a Pest, Food Pestilence, which doesn't change things too much, but it does a little bit. So I can Shambling Ghast to pick off this Cauldron Familiar. Kind of feels like that's going to be more helpful later when I can deal more damage, but maybe I just need to get into damage now. Yeah, I think it's probably better to do it now. They also don't have a food at the moment, so this is a good time to pick it off because then it can't just pop up right away. Familiar offers a ton of chump blockers, and this is a nice way to make it so that it doesn't chump block, at least this turn. And we have a pretty good clock, as long as they can't wipe the board here. Usually, since they're playing Pestilence, I'm assuming they're not going to be playing Crypt Rats, which means we have the ability to survive a little longer. Heaped Harvest is not the worst thing to see. It does mean that they can get the Familiar back, but that's it. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this could be 12 damage. Obviously, they're going to block one of them. I think we'll sack the Link Breaker, because if we get a Nested Shambler, then that would be nice. Oh, Village Rites, okay. So that's the same amount of damage by sacrificing it here as if we attack, although this one could get blocked then by the other guy, but I think it's worth seeing what we draw here. Yeah, Beetle's not bad. Pump the Feeder and swing. So I'm sure they're probably going to block. So they're at 17. They're taking 4. I want to keep one of these around for a Village Rites potentially, but I kind of think I want to deal the extra 1. If they get a Pestilence or something, I'm going to want to sacrifice anyway and make the Beetle a little bigger. I'm not expecting the Insect to be super powerful, so I think we're just going to sack that. Hit for 5 here. Cast down for the Feeder. Yeah, that's annoying, especially if they have another one, but we'll just sack it to itself. Grow the Beetles. Play a Wellspring. Cast a Limbus. That can get back the Familiar. So we don't have a lethal here unless I got, I don't know, Village Rites into Shambling Ghast and a way to sacrifice the Shambling Ghast to pick off the Cauldron Familiar at instant speed. We just get a Link Breaker. Well, we'll swing with the team. They sack Limbus, block the Beetle, and I'll pass. There's the Pestilence. It can wipe our fodder away. Activate again. They have to have something else. Oh, then they have a Garden. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, if we find a Snuff Out for this, we'll win. Of course, we just get a Swamp. We put into 4. Yeah. Man, we've been drawing a lot of lands recently. 7 of our 10 and 15 cards. Brutal. 7 of our 17, that is, not that. Yeah, they're going to Pestilence down to 1, and then they can play a blocker or just a kill spell. Tithing Blade, yeah. I mean, even if we get a piece of fodder, it's not that bad, though, because they can't Pestilence again unless they gain life. Well, there's the Limbus. They even just Familiar right now. We're not running Gut Shot, so I'm not sure that's necessary, but Oh, I guess it keeps the Pestilence alive, so it is necessary. Makes sense. Come on, dude. 50% of our draws have been lands. I really don't think we can win from here, but I guess if they just draw a whole bunch of lands, maybe we get there. They play a Garden and flip their Tithing Blade. We draw a Village Rites. I mean, I guess Village Rites is a good enough card that if we draw Fodder or something here, we can have a shot, but they also have the Offering, so they're drawing a bunch. We're also just at 10. We take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Pestilence is going to be able to wipe away any creature we get. I think one more creature. I mean, literally they were at one. One random creature spell, basically any spell, I think, would have won us the game there instead of those lands. Well, we get Mesmeric Fiends and Reunions. Mesmeric Fiends to try to counteract their removal. Reunion can stop a Tithing Blade or maybe even a Pestilence from killing stuff. Snuffouts and Marauders are not very good. And usually I'd cut Sadistic Glees in a Gardens matchup, but I kind of think they're going to have less targeted removal in this version. Like still Tithing Blades and Cast Downs, but I don't expect the Defiles as much. Maybe that's naive, but I kind of think I want to keep them in and get rid of like a couple Sages maybe. Well, we have one land, Feeder, Beetle, Shambler. Pretty good if we can hit the second land. Even if not, we get our creatures pretty big pretty quick, and we have several of them. We're going to give it a try. I'm going to start with a Feeder because I don't think that they're going to have a 1-mana kill spell. Yep, I was prepared to eat my words there. Yeah, I guess Tragic Slip is good to know about. We even draw the land. Yeah. And now the hand just doesn't look very good at all. Well, it was a gamble. Didn't pay off. Tragic Slip, to be fair, is going to kill our Carrion Feeder at some point anyway, but obviously having it kill our thing after we've gone our Beetles would be nice. I knew as soon as I said that probably would elicit a bad response here. Well, we gotta make the most of it. I'm just gonna play all these out. If we get a Carrion Feeder off the top, we have a really good turn, assuming they don't just like drown in sorrow here, which maybe I should stop manifesting, things like that. Link Breaker. Well, I'm gonna cast the Fiend, try to take away a board wipe that they might have, even though we're not going to be able to sack it in response. They do have a Tragic Slip and a Cast Down, and then card draw. So I guess we take the Tragic Slip. If they want, they can cast down the Fiend to get it back. And we're going to hope to just get them with the Go Wide strat. They draw 3, Lembas, Scry to the bottom. Village Rites, okay. Hit for 6. I should maybe have just Village Rites in the main phase there. If I get a Carrion Feeder or something, I can like pretty much push lethal, but I know they have a Tragic Slip. They're just going to take it. I'm going to Village Rites, a Link Breaker, go to the Beetles. I could have done this before damage, but then it's more likely they would have cast down something then. We get a Glee and a Stamina. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage next turn, but they have a Lembas. I'm going to cast this on the Shambler just to make another grower. If they try to cast out in response, I can Stamina it. But this way, if they try to kill the Fiend or any other creatures, it can start growing. I don't know, it just makes another Beetle is the goal here. If I'd drawn these pre-combat, it wouldn't really have made a difference. Of course, if they didn't cast anything down, I could have dealt 1 more damage, like I said, which could be relevant since we're dealing a bunch of single points of damage. Of course, if they just like get the Pestilence off the top, ping everything for 1, which is the mana they have, this Shambler's still going to die, but we still have 2 Beetles, plus we can Stamina a Shambler, so that's 4. That would be lethal. So yeah, they can't do that. Cast down the Beetle in response. I don't think I want to Stamina the Beetle, so we're going to let it go and pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if they don't have Lembas up, we could deal lethal, but I'd have to cast the Stamina proactively, which I don't love. Play another Swamp, play a Wellspring. I'm realizing maybe I should have just taken the cast down with this before. I was thinking if they just Tragic Slip this, they have the cast down anyway. So maybe it was better, because, yeah, I don't know. Oh, Campfire. Okay, so they're at potentially 11. Reunion isn't going to change anything here. Not this turn. Gonna pump a Shambler and attack for 6. I could force them to use a Campfire or a Lembas with the Stamina, but they're gonna do one of those either way, I think. Maybe not right here, but I just don't think it's necessary. And they go to 2. I mean, I guess this lets them like draw 2 instead, which could be relevant. We're gonna pass though. I could Rotten Reunion the Insight in their graveyard, or this Insight in their graveyard, but if they spend their next turn flashing back Eviscerator's Insight, they're in trouble. They're also at 2, so if they find a way to wipe the board, I can make 6 power out of nowhere actually with Rotten Reunion. They wipe the board somehow and don't die with like a Drown in Sorrow, for example. Then I could Rotten Reunion, Stamina. That's 7 damage. However, they're going to get back a Tragic Slip. They're going to have, if they play an untapped land here, they could have 7 life, so that's not even lethal. Man, I wish I made this beetle bigger somehow. I could stamina a shambler, but we only make 1 squirrel off of it, so it's not as much damage. Yeah, I guess this is fine. This is like the perfect Drown in Sorrow. Beetle's not big enough. It kills shamblers, which are not going to make any squirrels. I don't care. None of these triggers matter. But if I'm lucky, they'll tap out for something, thinking that they don't need to worry about flash creatures. I mean, they probably won't fully tap out, but they have a Tragic Slip, which could kill one of these. But theoretically, if all they have is Campfire and Tragic Slip, kill one of these, and then Stamina, I can get them for lethal. They bog us. Nutrient block, okay, and that's it. Reunion your Insight. Flashback Reunion on your other Insight. Swing for 4. These are black creatures, so they can't be spinning Darkness or anything like that, so I'm trying to figure out a way that they could kill them both or gain enough life and kill one. But I have the stamina even if they could kill one and gain 2 life. All right. Well, I really tried to throw that game by not thinking about Tragic Slip at the very beginning there. That would have been a lot easier if I had not started on the feeder. So that's a good lesson as to why you should not start on feeder unless you're 100% positive they will not be able to kill it. Or if you have a backup or something. Well, we're going to game 3. We'll see how this one works. 4 land is going to be a no-go. 3 land, but we're putting 1 back. Yeah, this hand's okay. It's not exceptional, but it's fine. Another beetle. I think I'm going to lead on the Sage this time, because they might have a 1 mana or 2 mana removal spell. Swamp and Wellspring. Swamp. So I assume I just feeder beetle here, because if I like double beetle, they could Drown in Sorrow. If I just vampire, that's not as much diversified threats, and they have the plant token to block, so yeah. Lembas. Next turn I can get down beetle, vampire. So we have 3 creatures that grow with every sacrifice, 4 growers total. I'd love a better card to play than this vampire this turn. Like, honestly, even just like maybe another piece of fodder to keep our beetle and feeder high. Tragic Slip is annoying because it kills one of these, and if we sacrifice something to keep it alive, then they can just, it'll get -13/-13 instead. So Tragic Slip can still kill a feeder, but I can't do anything about it. And at least I have a vampire to back it up. All right, they get their food going. Rite of Consumption. Well, that's not going to be this turn, I don't believe, because I'd have to make this big enough. There's no way. Play a vampire, swing with the team. I am going to sacrifice the Sage here because it means that all of our feeder and our beetles, well, first of all, I'm dealing 1 extra damage, right? But my feeder and my beetles will no longer be able to die to a Tragic Slip unless a creature has died this turn, which could matter. Like, if I specifically don't sacrifice a creature, maybe they can't kill it if they don't kill it themselves. Obviously, I'll keep the insect around for village rights or, you know, keeping the vampire alive or something. Vampire still dies to a Tragic Slip, but then we can just grow the feeder and we have 3/3/3s, not too bad. Obviously, having the vampire around so we can, like, hit with everything and then pump everything into the vampire to Rite of Consumption would be great, but I'm only going to do that if they're fully tapped out, because if we sack almost everything, and in response to the last thing they, like, Tragic Slip the vampire, then we're going to regret that. All right, passing with Cast Down, Lembas, you know, Fanatical Offering up. Another Swamp, not what we want. Swing with the team. I mean, obviously, by attacking, we're turning on a Tragic Slip's Morbid effect, but, like, I can't not attack here, obviously. They block the vampire. That's fair. So I could just deal 7. Of course, they have life gain, so it's hard to do the exact math here. I could sack a vampire. I don't think I'm sacking anything if they're not targeting anything, because if I sack vampire and then they, like, or if I sack insect and then they cast down the feeder, it's not great. Yeah, we'll just deal them 7. Again, I'm not going to Rite of Consumption this turn if they have mana. If they, like, tapped out for a kill on a feeder there, then I could maybe kill them with the Rite in response. Not in response, obviously, but, like, if they try to kill feeder, I sack it to the vampire, grow the beetles, sack the insect, grow the beetles, we hit for 8, and then the vampire would be big enough. So, like, yeah, if they did that, that would have been a cool play. We're going to cast down a beetle here. Obviously, we'll just sack it to a feeder. Man, imagine if we had a fling at instant speed in black. We could have just won at the end step there. I think it'd be crazy powerful, but that doesn't mean I don't want it. Yeah, Familiar makes things a lot tougher. Gains life and blocks every turn with all these food laying around. There's a campfire, rot farm, so 2 unknowns in their hand. Another vampire. So if I play vampire, attack, they block the beetle probably. But then I could hit them for 9 with the vampire, but obviously if they have a cast down. If they don't, then they just like sack a Lembas to survive, then we Rite of Consumption. I mean, I'm pretty sure we play this pre-combat just to make their math harder and our math easier. And we swing with everybody. If they block this vampire, this is 7. I sacrifice this vampire to one of these to hit for 9. Then they have to cast down, but I hit for at least 5, and then I Rite of Consumption, or they Lembas? Yeah, okay. So if they don't block this vampire, like, they're dead on board, except they have the Lembas. So for that reason, they don't have to block it, even if they don't have a cast down. They block the Beetle. Yeah, blocking Beetle, they're taking 5 here. So I could sacrifice Beetle and Vampire to hit for 5 more. Well, 4 more. Okay, yeah, if I sack Vampire, Beetle, we hit for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then they try to cast down the Vampire. I guess if they have like double Tragic Slip, this could be bad. Well, say they have Tragic Slip. They Tragic Slip the Vampire. I sacrifice it to the Feeder. We hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go to 4. I sacrifice the Insect to the Feeder. I Rite of Consumption. Even through Campfire, we win. I think, well, it's now or never. We're going to go for it. I think we have them covered from a Tragic Slip and life gain. So if they have double Tragic Slip, we might get got here. But I don't think we can play around double Tragic Slip very well. So now we're dealing 9. They have to do something. And if their play is just gain life, then Rite of Consumption should win. If they have 1 kill spell, I think we're fine. Yeah, they're going to crack a block, gain 3. So we'll deal them 9, and then we Rite of Consumption for lethal off the Vamp. All right. Oh, that was a close one. I even tried to throw game 2, but we ended up getting that one. And, yeah, I think this matchup's not the worst for us because they have a good amount of removal and it makes things really tough, especially with the life gain. That makes things tough too, but they're really slow. So we can take advantage of those first 3 or 4 turns really nicely. And that's how we won like the last game, was that we were able to put them to 2 before they were able to fully stabilize. And then the Rotten Reunion got there out of nowhere. So that was a fun match. All right, on the play here, round 7. I think Nick Norman plays Gardens, so we might be up against another similar deck to last time. Double Vampire. Unearth is, oh man. Sadistically, Vampire, Rite of Consumption. This could be a very early win if we get any fodder, but if we don't, it's really bad. I mean, as is, we're doing turn 2 Vampire. If they just kill it, we play another Vampire. If they kill that, maybe we unearth. I don't think the greed is real, but I don't think I can keep that one. This hand is bad though. 1 land, no way to grow any of this stuff. No. Oh my god. 1 land, no creatures in my like 30 creature deck. 28 creatures, yeah. I cannot keep a creatureless hand. I guess opponent's also down to 4, so that helps a little bit. This one's keepable, I guess. We're gonna have to keep Swamp, Feeder, Beetle, Linkbreaker. Get rid of all of this, I think. Then we have a pretty reasonable clock. Yep. We're going to keep this. Yeah, because I could also keep this sadistically and go all in on like 1 feeder, but that's worse against removal of any kind. So I think they're going to have a 1-drop kill spell. If they are Gardens, then they could have a Defile. So yeah, I think we lead on the Linkbreaker. Gardens indeed. Swamp would have been our best draw, so I could just get both of these down. As is, we're going to go with the feeder. I might play the Beetle if they were a deck that I think is going to play a creature on turn 2 that I can Marauder away, but I don't think that because there are Gardens decks, so there's no way I'm going to grow it anyway. Feeder, well, we're going to play a Beetle out pre-combat just in case we want to sacrifice one of these for some damage. Another Feeder is not the best thing ever. However, if they cast down the Feeder, it will be nice to have another one. They're going to block. Draw 2, I assume. Also, it's nice because we actually get a counter on the Beetle that way. So they saved 1 damage now, but they're going to probably take more damage in the long run because of it, which is kind of nice. So maybe they should have done it in response to the Beetle, which they did think about, or at least they held in response to the Beetle, but cast down the Beetle, yeah, that is annoying. So they won't take the damage in the long run after all. We'll sacrifice it. Obviously, we have the second Feeder. Well, okay. Beetle off the top's not bad. I mean, they're stuck on 2 mana. We're stuck on 1, but we have the aggressive start. Like, we could be okay here. I don't think I want to cash in the Linkbreaker until we're doing some serious damage. Okay, now they're killing the Feeder, which I like because I actually have another one of those as well, and they're passing. Now we get the Swamp. Of course, now is the turn where I can't actually use the Swamp effectively, but I am going to play it, and I'm going to play a Feeder. Pass. I might just end up playing this Marauder to slightly upgrade our Linkbreaker into a 2-1 and grow our Beetle, because the chances that they have a creature that it can kill is pretty low until they get to more mana. Now, they did just hit their 3rd land here, but like Thorn of the Black Rose is one. Well, okay, that's a good enough card to draw. Plus, if they do get a Thorn of the Black Rose, they might be forced to just slam it because, you know, what else are they going to do if they don't have much else? I mean, they have 5 cards in hand, but we'll see what they got. They've already used 2 cast downs, which is nice. They're going to block. I'm going to go to damage, see if they want to sack that. They do. Grow our Beetle. We'll hit for 2. I'm going to Village Rites the Link Breaker. Oof. Well, Link Breaker's a good draw. The second Marauder, not so much. They have a Wellspring, and they find their Swamp. If they have another Cast Down, I don't think there's any way we can kill them this turn, but if they don't, then we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. 13 with a Marauder. We get a Swamp. Yeah, so we Mercenary onto the Feeder here. Might as well play the Marauder, I think, since I have a second one anyway. Sack the Link Breaker. They have a Fungal Infection. Interesting. That's going to make a blocker. Okay, that is annoying. I mean, we can keep our guy alive, obviously, but the blocker does keep them alive, and they have the Defile. Oh, sure. So that's gonna be -2/-2. So if I sack the Marauder, it's not gonna live. It's not gonna die. It's not going to survive. And then, yeah, I guess playing the Marauder actually made this possible. I'm not gonna sack the Beetle to it. All right, we'll sack it to itself. Bit unfortunate. Oh, they don't. That is interesting. They didn't get the fungal infection guy because they did that in that order, which is actually really good. Putting him to 3 here means even if they kill the Beetle, I still have lethal. So we're not out of the woods, but it wasn't the end of the world, I guess. Oh, I made this real small. Spell Bomb is totally fine. That does not do that much. Okay, they're gonna sack a Wellspring to the Oof just to draw a card. They have 1 blocker. They need a removal spell for the Marauder or the Beetle. Oh, plus we can just play the Marauder pre-combat. Hey, it is gonna work. It is gonna matter. Take away the Oof. Now they have to kill this and this or they die. All right, that was a weird game. Both of us going down to 4. So we get rid of some removal, some fodder. We get to bring in instant speed fodder and Mesmeric Fiends. And the Graveyard Hate can be relevant against some cards, Witch's Cottage, Tithing Blade, things like that. All right, we have the All Village Rites hand. I don't think this is a very good hand in general, especially against an opponent who we need to be much faster than, but especially because we have one of our only non-double body fodder creatures. Say that 10 times fast. If we just don't hit creatures off of this, then or fodder off of one of our first Village Rites, then we have nothing going for us. And I don't like that. Opponent down to 6. Here we have an okay hand if we draw well. We need to draw a Carrion Feeder or something, or Vampire. If we don't, the hand just falls apart. I think we gotta go to 5. We need a hand with a plan. This one has a bit of a plan. Get rid of a Feeder, get rid of a... Shamblergast is the safer keep because we can gain a mana off of it. So we can play Feeder Beetle on turn 2. Yeah, I guess we'll keep that. We get the Swamp. So we'll play Shamblergast. I mean, this does mean I can Feeder Beetle, sack the Ghast, play a Shambler, and these can both be 4/4s before they can Defile or anything. That could be decent. Play a Wellspring. Another Shambler. Swing for 1. Could also keep the Ghast around to sack and ping this off, but I think I want to get my attackers down, and if I do this and they're just potentially 2/2s at best, that does not seem very good. So we're going to sack this, make a treasure, and play a Shambler. Play a Swamp, Tithing Blade. Okay, yeah, so we're going to sack the Shambler, and they're going to Defile in response, I assume. Grow the Beetle. Oh, okay. That just worked. That's totally fine by me. Spell Bomb, that's fine too. Okay, they don't have a lot. That's really good. That means they don't have a cast down to use or anything like that. Stamina would go crazy here. Ooh, Fiend's actually pretty good. Let's just do that. I know that they already don't have removal or anything great, it seems, but if I can take away a key card draw spell or something, that could be even better. We still have protection against a second Tithing Blade, which is also possibly what they're going for here. Triple card draw, yeah. So probably just take the Fanatical Offering. I don't think they're going to get to Flashback on this Insight for a while, and I'd rather they have to use up more resources, so we'll do that. Swing at the team. They're going to take it. That's 8. I could make it 9, but obviously I'd rather have the Squirrel token for a Tithing Blade or something here. They're going to go for an Offering. Map onto the plant, looking for a land. Okay, they find it. Oh, and they already had a County Garden, so I guess they just had nothing to play for that one. All right. Well, they could probably survive here unless I get something real good. Swamp is not real good. We'll play this, force a block or 2, because this is 8 damage, so it's 12 if they just block here. I have 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Do I want to do any more? If I just put them to 8, I want to make these both lethal next turn. If I put them to 8, there'll be at 7, sorry. Then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they will both be lethal if they don't gain any life. Yeah, plus this is best for supernatural stamina and stuff. I think we're going to pass. I maybe should play the Swamp, just in case we get a Village Rites. We could maybe need the mana, but chances are that probably won't happen where we both get the Village Rites and then also need to play a land and cast 2 spells. Yeah, that doesn't even work because I don't have a spell that would be more than 3 mana. More than 2 mana, that is. Bajuka Bog, so we know there are 2 of their cards left. Okay, they're going to pass. Let's play a Link Breaker first. We have lethal on either of these, but obviously if they have a removal spell as well as a chump block, that's not going to work. They block here. I guess I could just sacrifice the Link Breaker and then the Mercenary, and that's presenting lethal. Yeah, I mean, we have to force them to use the cast down this turn, I think. Cast down or whatever it is. Even though I'd like to save the Mercenary for the Shambler, which is not going to be what we're going to do this time. Insight the guy. They could also be looking for the removal spell, or obviously just casting it before, because wouldn't they try to deal 7? Weather the Storm, sure. What was that? 3 spells? Yeah, so they gain 9. I'm dealing 7. So there's no way I can deal him lethal here. Okay, we'll just deal 7 then. That's not the worst thing ever to see. I'd rather that than a cast down. Obviously it does buy him some time though, but we still have lethal next turn, so they gotta have something pretty good here. Wellspring, Link Breaker. Okay, well now we have to think about a Weather the Storm. So currently we're putting up 12, 13, 14 damage. If I play Link Breaker, we can certainly do more than just one Weather the Storm's worth, but if they have a cast down, if they just have a cast down, I already have lethal. If they have a cast down and a Weather, I won't. Either way, I think it makes sense to just play it. If they have the Weather plus a cast down, we're not killing them regardless. If they just have the Weather, we are killing them regardless. So we'll see. Yeah, they've cast down the Beetle in response. Okay. I'll sack it to the feeder. If they have double cast down, I mean, we're in a kind of a tough spot for sure. That worked. So we attack for... This is currently 8, so gotta make it 9. And then they'll cast down. Moment's Peace. Sure. You got me. That buys another turn. Didn't know we turned into Turbo Fog here. Viscerator's Insight on the Wellspring. Mesmeric Fiend. I'll probably just attack first. Force them to use the Moment's Peace. Oh, wait. They were thinking about responding to this Shambler activation. Like, I could Fiend now, but if they have like a way to kill the Carrion Feeder, maybe they'll just do that instead of using the Moment's Peace. Crack the Spellbomb. Swing for 10. Yeah, flashback. Alright. But like if they had another Moment's Peace in hand, for example, they might have like used the one from hand instead. Now we can get that. There's definitely reasons to do it this way. They have Suffocating Fumes. That was their thought. Okay. Suffocating Fumes, Lembas Troll. Troll blocks for 1 turn, but I don't care about that. Fumes is... Well, do I care about that? This is interesting. Fumes does not stop us from killing them, so I probably just don't take that. If they cast a Troll, they just chump block, survive 1 turn, and still have to take some damage. I kind of think Lembas is the best card here. I'm going to take the Lembas. 3 Swamps is pretty good for us. Suffocating Fume, like, they only have... Gonna have 8 mana, so like they could have Trolled and Lembas here. If I take the Troll, then Lembas, they can find something else probably. Like Troll does definitively, unless we get like a Marauder, which we sided out, it does keep them alive for a turn. But the Lembas, like they could Lembas plus Fumes, and that would keep them alive for a turn. Plus Lembas could just find something. Crypt Rats. Well, that's an annoying top deck, because that chump block, that basically does Fumes and Troll. It chump blocks and it wipes our fodder. Another feeder. Might as well pump this here. Now I could play a Carrion Feeder. And if I do, then I could sacrifice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there might be a way I can grow it around their Fumes and Crypt Rats so that I get something out of the chump block and kill our guys. And so we have another attacker. That seems good. They block. I will pass priority. They're going to deal 1 damage to everything. So I'll respond by sacrificing the Shambler first with this feeder, since this one's already going to be big enough. They're going to activate for 1 in response to that. I'll sacrifice a squirrel. They'll activate for 1. I'll sacrifice a mercenary. So they might be able to kill... I think they can kill the feeder here, but then I'm still going to be left with 2 squirrels, which I guess is fine, because then they can Suffocating Fumes. Yeah, so I sack this here. Now they've tapped out of Fumes for this turn, so I could just sacrifice this to this one to grow bigger. I don't know, I kind of feel like it's big enough. I don't know, we'll make them use the Crypt Rats again. Then I'll sack this feeder to the other one. So yeah, we weren't able to keep it alive, but we kept the 2 squirrels alive by doing it this way. Oh, no, we didn't, because they died still after that. Okay, well, that's annoying. In that case, maybe it was just a waste to do it that way. I mean, we did make them ping themselves for 4 instead of just 2. That's not a big accomplishment. Maybe it was just a waste to do it that way. I don't know. If they had 1 fewer mana, I could have kept it alive, but I should have done the math a little bit better. They eviscerated his Insight the Tithing Blade, so that means they're not playing the Troll, which means they need to have removal or a chump blocker or something. Defile is -5/-5. They have another Defile too, or yeah, that's the only reason they would do that. Yep, I guess it dies. And Bajuka Bog. Ugh. I mean, we haven't drawn that many swamps this game, so I can't be that upset about it, but that's pretty unfortunate. And they have a Fumes and now a Troll. I think I just die. Yeah. I don't think that Carrion Feeder play would have changed anything, because they still would have killed all the fodder. I could have played it after, but then it dies to a Suffocating Fumes, and with my draws it wouldn't have mattered, but definitely was not great. Alright, on the play here, seeing if we can get a reasonable opening hand. This is not it. This is all in on one feeder. We kept 7. They're supposed to go to 4 again. Yeah, I think we're going to keep this. Get rid of a Shambler. Start with the Shambler. Spell Bomb. Okay. Swamp. Swing for 1. We're going to play these 2 guys out. Pass the turn. They have a Haunted Mire. Oh, brother. I'm going to attack for 3. I don't think it makes sense to sacrifice here. 1 sacrifice doesn't give me any more damage. A 2nd sacrifice would give me 1 more damage. I just don't think that's worth potential Village Rites, Beetles. Like, we have a million reasons to keep our guys around. Cycle a Troll for a Swamp. Lembas. Stamina, Beetle, Village Rites would all be decent draws. Alright, Village Rites. If I do it now, I lose a damage, but I think it's worth it, because if I get a Stamina, I can increase my damage. If I get a Beetle, it's just good to know about. Generally, you want to count for sure, make sure you're getting enough damage, but it's also important to get all the information as early as possible. And these are some good draws for sure. They're gonna have Fumes, Crypt Rats. I don't think there's any reason I shouldn't cast these. Let's attack. This time, I think I want to sack the Link Breaker, because then that gets me a Mercenary for the Shambler. I still have enough fodder to keep things alive. And if they don't anticipate the Rite of Consumption, we can maybe get them next turn, even through like a block or a kill spell or something. They're just leaving up all their mana though. Another Vampire. We have mana for that. Pump the Shambler first. Let's see. What's the worst they could do? They could have Suffocating Fumes and a Defile. Fungal Infection could block. But I could make my Vampire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15, 15, even through a Suffocating Fumes. And a Fungal Infection or Defile. Yeah, I think we just play this and go at it. Problem is, if they don't cast anything here, we're only hitting for 6, which means they don't have to do anything. And then Rite of Consumption, I'd have to start sacrificing creatures then to throw something. Plus they have a Lembas here. Probably want to sack the Shambler for some damage. 1, 2, 3. They have too much mana, I think, for me to guarantee like kill them here, because they could have 2 cast downs, they could have 3 Defiles. Like, I think I gotta play it a little conservatively, so I might just hit for 6. But what? Then they untap, they like Drown in Sorrow. That's really bad. They would have drowned if they already would have drowned if they had it, I think. So we would have just been left with 1 feeder, 1 Vampire. If I sack the Mercenary, that's 8 damage. Yeah, I think we want to sack some stuff so that it's less, like, if they get a board wipe, we've at least gotten our damage in. This is 8, so they go to 5 with a Lembas up. Sack. Put them to 3 with this as a 5/5. No, this is a 7/7. They could have a Weather the Storm, which would be bad too. Yeah, I guess we just gotta, like, they could have so many things here. I think I just need to deal some damage. So I'm just going to pass priority here after 1 sacrifice. They're down to 5, and I just got to pass, I think. There's just no way I can anticipate everything they could possibly have. Yeah, I figured they'd probably just draw some cards here. If they find the Drown in Sorrow, it's going to be pretty annoying. Or Suffocating Fumes. I should maybe have sacrificed the Shambler here to make the Squirrels before it lost its power. Sack to the Feeder. Yeah, that could have been good. Obviously having it around is good for a Stamina, but otherwise the Squirrels would have been nice. They can also just have a Moment's Peace, of course, but that does not prevent a Rite of Consumption. They're going to clean up. Yeah, they got a bunch of instants to cast. What are they discarding? We just get a Swamp. Bojuka Bog. Well, we're attacking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That at least forces the Lembas. Moment's Peace. Okay, so I could sacrifice 4 I'd have to sacrifice 4 creatures to make a Vampire a 9/9 to Rite of Consumption through the Lembas. And if I do that, and in response to the last one they just have like a cast down, then it's pretty bad. So here we go, passing again. This deck is very much sometimes you gotta just make them have it, but yeah, I feel like there's too much that they could have here that it's really bad, but this is not where you want to be. I want to keep alive both Vampires, I think, so I'll sacrifice Insect, Shambler, and then obviously this is dying anyway, so I might as well get a counter for the Feeder. Man, instant speed Fling and black. That's what I need. Defile the Feeder. Yeah, it's dead. Yeah, it's possible that was just our chance and we should have taken it. Well, Fiend is not bad. You can see what's going on. We know they have the Moment's Peace, but theoretically if they like cast down in response to this and then Moment's Peace, I could like Rite of Consumption them for lethal. Ooh, they sack the Lembas. That changes things maybe. They draw 2. They have the Moment's Peace, but they don't know about the Rite of Consumption. So if they just use Moment's Peace here, they'll have no life gain, and Rite of Consumption can kill, depending on what we see. Fanatical Wellspring Troll. Okay, so yeah, I take Offering, I attack, and then I can Rite of Consumption. I mean, I don't even have to sacrifice one of these here. Technically, I should just leave it, hit them for 4. They won't Moment's Peace, and then I just Rite of Consumption for 3 more damage. Maybe it would have been safer the other way because they have to tap out with a Moment's Peace, but either way, unless I was missing something, they should not have been able to deal with that. Okay, super close. And able to get there against Gardens. All right, we're on the play, round 8 here. Boom Bust usually plays red in some variety. This hand's okay. We do have a Sage with the Village Rites, Staminas. It's not amazing, but Village Rites solves all of our problems at all times. Start with a Swamp and a Sage, and there's the Epicure. Feeder's a good draw. We're gonna Village Rites this guy, but get our probably free damage anyway. They do go for the block. I could let it trade and then Village Rites the Insect, but they call my bluff. I'd rather have the Insect around, I think. And we get our land, nice. Awkwardly, we don't really have the best play here. Like a Feeder dies, Beetle dies to anything. I think I'm just going to hold up Village Rites, probably Rites the Insect, which could make for a decent turn 3. If we can find ideally a land and a piece of fodder like Nested Shambler would be incredible. They Blood Token away to grab the prize. Okay, so they're looking for lands, and it seems like they didn't find it. I am just going to Village Rites here. Yeah, so we might as well save the damage. But if they're stuck on 1 land, then we're in a pretty good spot. Unearth is not bad. Okay, we didn't hit our 3rd land, but Unearth can get back fodder, or we just have this Link Breaker. Gonna play Link Breaker. I could Village Rites. It's bad if we still whiff on a land. I think we're going to go for it. Hope for the best. Okay, we got the Swamp. Great. And we have a Snuff Out. That could be relevant. Grab the prize means they're probably Madness. So I might as well play something. Could be a Feeder. That gives them a Beetle, or a Bolt target, rather. But then I can Unearth, Beetle. No, I don't want to do that because I want the Stamina. I'm going to just Unearth a Link Breaker, actually, because I want a piece of fodder that I can Stamina around, and I don't want to play a Feeder or a Beetle here that just gets killed. Swamp's not bad. Now we're going to go for Feeder, Beetle, and if they have a Bolt or a Lava Dart in response, we just have Stamina on the Link Breaker. Oh, they're going to Dart here on the Mercenary. Can't do anything about that. Sure. Beetle, swing. We're going to Stamina the Link Breaker here. There's no way that they Lava Dart it, because then they lose their only land, and then we just probably win by default. If they block, then I'll happily just trade them off, because, yeah, that'd be good. I guess, actually, if I Stamina this and sack, they could Lava Dart down, like, the Feeder, but I could Stamina the Feeder if I really need. And again, if they lose their land, I think they're toast. So, yeah, I think we're fine. If they don't block, that's the best, because I can get in for 3 damage, then sacrifice, and we'll be okay. If they do block, that's fine, too. Stamina, go to damage, trigger here, it returns, and we'll pass. And if they do even get, like, a Flame Breather, I have a Marauder for it, or a Flame Snuff Out, but I don't think I'll even need that. They plot a Highway Robbery. I think we'll be okay. Let's Stamina the Link Breaker, sacrifice that, grow the crew, and yeah, might as well just sack the Link Breaker. We've already gone through 2 of our 3 Staminas. This way we have the Mercenary in case we top deck like a Nested Shambler. And if we don't, we still just have 1, 2, 3. This is 9 damage, 15 damage on them, 16. Yeah, let's just hit for 9. I don't think we can lose this one. Like, even if they had like an End the Festivities in the main deck, then we just have 2 creatures that can kill them. If they have a couple chump blockers, even like 2 Epicures here, I can Snuff Out and Marauder them away. Play the Robbery, discard a Fiery Temper, try to kill the Beetle. I'll sack a Mercenary to grow it. Then they could Bolt it. Okay. In which case, I can't save it, but we can sack to the Feeder. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage. And the Epicure, yep. Currently the Marauder doesn't actually grow like a Beetle, since that just died, so I'm just going to snuff this guy out. Play a Link Breaker. I think this is 7, 11. Wreck everything and hit for 11 damage. Alright. I mean, they kept a 1-lander, but that's how it goes. Graveyard Hate, life gain, single target removal. Take out, snuff out Marauder, Sage, and Unearth. No lands. No lands again. 1 land. We have Reunion, Shambler, Stamina. So I could put back like Tragic Slip, Shambler. I mean, Shambler, Stamina, Bloodthorn Vampire is a good start, but with 1 land, it's pretty brutal. Honestly, on the draw against Madness, I kind of like to leave up a Rotten Reunion on turn 1 to snag a Sneaky Snacker, but I don't know if I can really afford to do that unless I top deck a land here, because I might just only be playing for 1 mana, and I just need to get that, use that 1 mana every turn. It's not a bad 5-card hand, but we definitely need some help. They just have Mountain. We get our Tragic Slip back. All right, I am going to leave the Rotten Reunion up. If they don't go for if they go for a Snacker, I really need to deal with it. Oh my gosh, they kept another 1-lander, even on 6. Huh. Well, that makes me want to, if we have a Village Rites on top, I really want a Rotten Reunion to draw it, or to draw with it, but if I don't, then I kind of want to save it for if they get their next one, but since they're missing a land drop, I can't even count on that. I think I need a Shambler then. Now this feels like a bit of a waste on turn 1, but like them getting a Snacker on turn 2 and us having a rough start is just not a great way to start things. They shoot the Shambler. I think that's fair. Unfortunately, we don't have our stamina up or anything. They whiff on their land again, though, and we get ours. Okay. So I could play a Carrion Feeder. If they just bolt it, I just have to stamina it to keep it alive. If I play a Vampire, I can't do anything to keep it alive. I kind of feel like Feeder is just no good here. If we get any fodder, yeah, let's just pass. They're missing again. If we get any fodder, then the stamina can keep these guys alive. Now I can Vampire with stamina up. If they kill it, yeah, I guess we're doing that. I also have Rotten Reunion, but if they like bolt it, I'm gonna have to use Reunion and the Squirrel. I don't like that, but if they just like cast a Lava Dart from hand, I can just sack a Squirrel. I don't know. They finally get it. Searing Blaze, well, that's annoying. 3 damage to us. Well, I guess if I can Rotten Reunion their Lava Dart away. No, I can't afford to sack all this fodder. I think I need to stamina this, and if they want to dart it in response, so be it. I could sack this, but this has 2 targets, so it does not really make a difference. Comes back. There's a Beetle. Okay. Beetle. I think I am going to Reunion the Lava Dart now, so we get our fodder down. Unless they want to sack a land, that's going to go off. And now I get to play a Feeder and just conserve our creatures, but we get to start attacking for a little bit. We have a Tragic Slip if they play like Flame Breather or Gutter Snipe. We can flashback a Reunion on our turn. Another Searing Blaze for the Beetle. 1, 2, 3. To grow it. They have another land, they have a bolt. Otherwise, I probably would keep the Beetle alive, but looks like it's probably not worth it, so we'll sack it to the Feeder. Searing Blaze being a little annoying. Shambling Ghast, we'll just get down any fodder we can here. I don't think we're hitting with the zombie at the moment. Yeah, just hit there for 4. I mean, we're still in a great spot, obviously. Unless they just have a bunch of burn in hand and kill us here. Grab a prize Fiery Temper. I mean, that's pretty decent. They probably got to go for a creature here, I think. Because if they tap out without trying to attack our creatures, yeah. So I'd have to sack 2 to keep it alive. 1, 2. Then I can sack 1, 2, 3. To hit for 7. If we get a Rite of Consumption, that would be lethal. Or I can just sack it to the Feeder. So we can hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a lot closer to lethal. Yeah, we're just going to sack this to the Feeder. They could also have a land here. It looks like not. I'm just going to flashback the Reunion to use our mana and stamina. Does that do it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If I cast it on this, that doesn't, because it's not double body. No, that doesn't quite do it. We could put him to 1. That's probably still worth it. Of course, putting him to 1 means if they have like an End the Festivities and then can kill the Feeder, they're in a good spot, but they're not going to be able to kill the Feeder very easily. So yeah, I think I stamina here. Put him to 1. Sack the zombie to the Feeder. Same with the other one. I might as well sack the Shambling Ghast just to get a treasure. Not that it should probably matter. But it also gets a counter on the Feeder, which obviously is relevant. Now we have 3 lethal attackers. They have to have like a blocker and an End the Festivities. Plus we have Tragic Slip, Faithless Looting for the Hail Mary. And we won the match. That was a pretty rough start going 1 and 2, but then 5-0 after that. We ended up with a 6-2. I will say, I don't think there's any way we make top 8 with a 6-2. Out of 188 players, I project will probably be around 20th place. So not a bad record at all. I'll certainly show what I end up getting, but didn't do too poorly. All right, we ended up just under what I predicted, 21st place. Not bad for a tournament with 188 players. 6-2 is a pretty good record. Turns out I didn't think this was going to happen, but if we actually had better breakers, there was one 6-2 that eked its way into the top 8. So I mean, we were way down here, but theoretically, with a 6-2 record, we could have made it. And as always, this deck is still highly underrated, really powerful, really fun, and one that can do well even in the most competitive of circumstances. If you're interested in getting into this deck, I have a whole playlist of easily over 20 videos of Black Sack gameplay, and I have a whole guide that I wrote that you can pick up for 15 bucks. You'll get it, and you'll have all updates for the rest of time for free after that. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you to my supporters, including my $10 and up supporters, Howard Granger, Rafa Rodriguez, JDNPX, Jason Golombiewski, Halkaz, Cody Cowell, Ill Intent, and Emmanuel Mayer. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.